All right, we got new week, new heat. Benji, Big Ken, Trish Michelle, and we got some fire friends with us today. So y'all stay tuned. It's the fire session. Let's light it up. Yep, it's us, the fire session, and we're back with more heat. We have a special topic for y'all today, and y'all gonna wanna stay tuned for this one. We gotta discuss something wild because y'all are out of hand on social media and in this world when it comes to this topic. But before we get into all that, we got to make sure our people are good. Y'all already know how we do it here at the fire session. We got to check on our people. But y'all see, we got a special guest with us on the screen. Miss DeAnna. DeAnna is joining us. And let's just say this. If you look at the intro video, you saw that intro video. She's actually on our intro video as well. So she's not a stranger to the show. She's a fire friend. So welcome back.
She's family now.
Facts. So how are you doing today? Emotionally, mentally, physically? You good?
I am wonderful. No complaints at all. You know, life is good, business is good, family is good, my health is great. I'm excited. I'm even more excited about this topic tonight because, you know, a lot of times people want to bring me on to talk real estate, you know, being the boss chick of real estate, and that's all great. But every now and then I like to switch it up. I got some other things to say, so I appreciate tonight's opportunity.
Yeah, we figured that. I figured that. She got some stuff. She got stuff in the wheelhouse we're gonna have to bring out. You know what I mean?
For sure. Trisha Michelle, how you feeling today? What's going on with you?
Oh man, I'm good. Same old same, actually. I'm glad it's not a crazy week. We got through homecoming. We made it. That day was crazy. That one of the younger one, his football game got changed to midday. I ended up not even being able to make that one because there's no way I was gonna get her ready in time either. It was a crazy day. It was nonstop. So then football Sunday, normal, you know, when it's football season. Sunday ain't gonna go any other way. I'm gonna just let y'all know that right now. That's what's happening on Sundays. So, and then, you know, it's also Monday Night Football. We did that. And we just cruising through the week now. So yeah.
All right, Benji Banks, the man, the brand. Talk to the people, man. What's going on with you?
What's up with it? I'm good, man. I don't have a complaint in the world. If I did, I'd just tell my wife and spit it in her ear, and that'll be about it. But overall, man, everything is good. Everything's solid. Business good. Wanting another business. I think we spoiled on this side of life. You know what I'm saying? When everything you want, you kind of get. And you get to pick what you want. You get to say, nah, I don't want that. And you know what I'm saying? We kind of spoiled on this side of life, you know what I mean? When you can just kind of float and do what you need to do. But overall, we solid. Shout out to the colonoscopy for keeping your boys' insides on deck.
What?
Shout out to the
colonoscopy.
Shout out to colonoscopy.
Says no one ever.
I'm just saying,
this got to be a first in podcast history. Somebody give a colonoscopy a shout out.
Hey, everybody! An old man's talking.
I'm telling you, man, keep your boy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're smelling clean.
Was this your first one?
First one.
Oh, so you're the newbie. Okay.
I'm the newbie. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick to eating clean. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had me no burritos yet. I ain't had no nachos. I ain't even had no tacos yet. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? We coasting through this thing. We eating salads. You know what I'm saying? You know.
What that tends to be the norm. Like after you have it, like and they tell you everything, and you realize what all came out. Then you're like, oh, I'm gonna be good. That only lasts for probably about 2 weeks. We're gonna give him about 2 weeks, guys.
Right. You ain't fooling us. You gonna have a burrito or whatever else.
Listen, we're in California. I know it's gonna happen, but first, I want some church's chicken. I gotta, yeah. So
Oh,
I
you
already know
already
it's
trying
coming.
to clog it all back up wrong.
I mean,
Okay.
He going all the way. Like,
we're gonna wait a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? But we're gonna get back into the, you know what I'm saying, the natural occurrences of life. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, I mean, to each his own. We all have things that we get excited about in life, and for us, Benji is a little bit older than me. I'm 45 this year, so I had mine as well. So it's a different experience, but I ain't gonna give it a shout out. But what I'm saying, especially my brothers out there, man, make sure y'all get these things checked out. Make sure y'all going to the doctor, man. Make sure y'all taking care of yourselves, physically and mentally. Man, because so much happening out in the world today. So, you have to really just lock in, man. Because as we climb that age chart, things don't get easier, man. So you have to make sure you get ahead of anything that could possibly go wrong. And you got to go to the doctor in order to do that and get your checkups, man. Stop running from the doctor. Now, I understand there's some things that the doctor may want to do and may suggest that maybe, put your antennas up there, fellas. I get it. I get it. But you have to weigh it out. Is it worth this? Is it worth that? You know what I'm saying? Just go see the doctor, man. Stop running from them, man.
That's right.
Go see the doctor.
All right. So this episode, we got a topic for y'all, man. Y'all know sometimes we have hot topics. We have all this wild stuff that we talk about. But today we have a specific topic that we're going to talk about, and it is types of intimacy. Types of intimacy. One of Benji's favorite topics, man. One of Benji's favorite topics. We've talked about this on an episode before, but that was many moons ago. So we wanted to revisit it to have a fresh outlook, and of course, we have different people with us today. So the conversation is going to be a little bit different, and it's gonna require you to be vulnerable, right, for this conversation to go right. So and vulnerability is a big part of what? Intimacy. So
that is true.
We want to start with the types of intimacy and then work our way from there, right? So the type of intimacy that we're looking at today, the types are emotional, intellectual, physical, experiential, and spiritual. All right. So they're not in order of importance, anything like that. But we may ask you what's important to you eventually during this episode. So when you hear the word intimacy, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, DeAnna?
Connection.
Okay. All right.
So
Go ahead.
That's it. Connection.
Okay. So Trish Michelle, what about you?
Between them sheets, first of all.
Nice.
That's literally, if you telling me to just speak honest, like whenever I hear the word intimacy, that's the first thing. Although intimacy is way much more than that. But when I first initially, I gotta go past the bedroom. But yeah, and you said what's the first thing, so I'm just being honest.
That's right.
I dig it. The Isley brothers told us what's up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I respect that, because I think majority of people, when they hear that word intimacy, that's the first thing that pops into their mind. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I think for us, especially for our generation, is because of the music, really. You know what I'm saying? The music and the music, when we hear the word intimacy and we think about the things that we've been taught or heard, it goes back to the music, and that's what the music was talking about in between them sheets.
Yes.
Benji Banks, what about you, my guy?
First thing I think of coming to my mind is togetherness. So, that can be in a bunch of different phases and spaces, but togetherness, closeness, and those two really stick out to me. So,
okay. Well, I think the contrast usually ends up being sex on one end and a deeper connection. So those are the two, things that people usually will bring up when you talk about intimacy. So, but I ain't gonna lie to you, like Trish Michelle said, we gotta be honest here. Some of y'all just thought Netflix and chill right away.
Yeah, right away.
Immediately. Y'all know y'all did. Don't act like y'all didn't. Do not act like between the sheets was not the first thing y'all thought about.
First thing, most for the most part, yes. You know
that
what
ain't
I'm
all it is though. So don't come for me because I know it's a lot of things. But that's just what comes to my,
I would say the majority would say that's the first thing that they would say. I don't think people.
Well, I would say that it's also based on where you are currently. Because I think when I say connection, and when you said the very first thing, I'm thinking about my current situation, my current relationship, that type of thing. So intimacy overall for me was connection. But I could certainly see if I took myself back to when I was in my 20s, right? Intimacy was so completely different.
Facts. As
than what it is now.
And that's very real. And not just that. And then you take yourself, because I'm not gonna come for all men, but I'm gonna come for a lot of men. For intimacy definitely means the bedroom first for them. And then, like you said, not being in the 20s anymore. So you do take that relationship and you say, hey, I know you want to hurry up and get to the nitty gritty, but for me, intimacy is everything that we did throughout the day that led us up to this moment.
I agree.
To now be where you want to be in this space. But I needed to all these little things that happen all throughout the day to make me be like, oh, that's what I need.
Yeah,
right.
I can agree with that. And especially when you deal with the age gap, because we talked about this earlier when we did this show before. I was single, right? So the thought process is going to be totally different compared to now being on this side. So it's a little bit different. I can definitely roll with that.
Yeah, boys just pulling up to pull out tracks and blow out backs. And
don't treat me like no light switch. Don't be talking about, oh, we gonna turn you on. I'm turning on, so you should be turned on. I ain't no light switch.
This ain't no snap your fingers
and do the step. You can do it all by yourself.
You gonna do it all by yourself.
You gonna be doing it all by yourself, all right.
What do you mean by that?
All right, so when we talk about these type of topics, a lot of people, they look at, like you all said, your personal experiences, and then when you are out there dating, you meet other people, they have a different view or a different, idea of what they feel like intimacy is. So that's the tricky part, is trying to align those things, in which we're going to get into how these things align and the importance of these things as they align. But the quick definition of intimacy is closeness, as you mentioned, vulnerability, and connection. So those three things, all these, the 5 different types that we listed, all those types have those 3 components encompassed within them. So the essence is not who you love, is how you love them.
Facts. I like
that's
say
what
that
it really
again.
boils down to.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what it really
if
boils
y'all
down
didn't hear him,
yeah, I think you should run that back, Ken. Say that again.
Yeah, so it's not just who you love, is how you love them. That's important, right? So that's what intimacy is really going to break down to. So this conversation is going to be really interesting, because I think as we've gotten older, we have a better idea of what these things mean for us as individuals and as a whole. But as y'all mentioned earlier, in our 20s, man, we was just out here just trying to figure it out. And, our frame of reference was usually music and movies, and that's what we went by. So
at our age, younger, we was just trying to get some clout to show that we could pull women. You get what I'm saying? So, and some people carry that over into, their latter age, you know what I mean? But at 20 years old, we was just trying to pull the hottest girl, the finest girl, so that we could brag about it. You get what I'm saying? And that was a way for us to be intimate with our partners, to let them know, because we wanted to be in the in crowd. So that was part of how we was doing it when we was, at that age.
And therefore, I think for us women on the other side, it was our way of being able to show up and be something different and do something different and offer something different. So we will put in a different class and not part of the starting 5.
But see, for me, I was a little bit of a player. I was a little bit of a player back then. So
pontificate.
We'll leave that alone. I had to start at 5, but they knew
You
who
don't run.
they knew
Don't
about each
run.
other. And one was the car, the other one was the dates, the other one was the between the sheets, the other one was the whatever. But they knew who they was and they knew who they roles.
Yeah,
And now,
and they
but
and they
that
knew their
gets
position.
that they knew right. They knew what day of the week was theirs and their position to play your role. Don't do too much.
Oh,
But then I got older and I was like, all right.
Wow.
I think I did that till about 21.
Okay.
Oh wow.
That's, ooh.
We
21
loving the
is young.
transparent. We loving the transparency here. We loving the transparency.
21
Because-
is still a young buck.
Hey, you know I'm gonna keep it real. Oh,
Yeah,
whatever.
We love it. We love that transparency, and that's what we're asking for: transparency, people. So, to hear that is refreshing because let's just be honest. A lot of us, when we were young, we were running through the same things.
Yeah.
We were just trying to figure ourselves out and figure other people out while we were figuring ourselves out. Y'all get that when y'all get home.
I mean,
y'all
honestly,
get that when y'all get home.
That's a fact.
Figuring it out. That we was off figuring it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes figuring it out meant figuring her out because you liked her. So if you could figure her out,
that
you
could
didn't
go so far.
It can. Because
But yes,
if you liked her, if you really liked her, right? And sometimes you see a chick and you're like, oh man, she fine. She this, she that. So in that space, really, you're like, okay, you didn't know much about her, but if you could get the moment to be intimate with her and figure out what she liked and then how she liked it and the way she liked it, then that was like a big thing for you as a young fella because, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, we were trying to pull the finest chick we could pull or the prettiest girl that we could pull. So if you could figure her out and then go back and tell your partners or your brothers, your cousins, like I grew up, that was like a notch in your belt. So it could work in kind of both ways. You know what I mean? So,
well, I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a lot of dudes out here who wasn't worried about how fine she was. It was quality. It was quantity over quality.
Over quality.
That's true.
It was quantity.
there was a lot, a large percentage like that.
Yeah, just get these. Let's run these numbers up, and then eventually we'll find.
He gonna lay where he lie. He gonna land where he land at and lay where he lie when he done running them numbers up. That's it.
That's it. All right. So
T-Mac numbers.
All right, so let's break down these types of intimacy, man. First up, we got emotional, which is your feelings, your fears, your secrets. And I got a question for the men out there. So Benji, you can answer this. Do men really open up emotionally, or do they say that for their homies? Do they say that for their girl? Like, how does that work?
It depends. That's because there's levels to it, right? It depends on how she handles you being in that emotional space. Because men, we don't always like to be vulnerable. We can be with the right chick. Even you could go back Bible days. Samson loved Delilah so much, he told the girl all his secrets. You get what I'm saying? And the pillow talk. Men will pillow talk. The question is, or the long-term ramifications are, if I share with you that I'm feeling this type of way, will you weaponize it against me? And so that takes the man into, can I really deal with this chick? Because then you put her in a space of, if I can really talk to her and she can handle me mentally, what I'm seeing, and you got to understand where we come from. We saw some crazy stuff that we couldn't tell nobody. I couldn't tell you what was going on in my home. You get what I'm saying? I couldn't tell you what I was seeing. So it was deep rooted, deep seated. But if I was talking to a chick and I could share with her, man, like I saw this and I saw that, and then she didn't go around talking and blasting, then you turn around, everybody know your business. Then I was like, man, I can't fool with her because you're gonna catch a case fooling with her, and it's levels to it. So if you can be that for a man, that man will do anything for you. That's all I'll say about that.
And I think it's interesting too, when we talk about men and this piece of it, the emotional piece. A lot of guys, if you have real friends, you can open up to them and you can talk to your homies, or that good male friend, or that good male cousin that you have. For me, I had both. So I was able to talk to them about a number of different things about my emotions. that
Right.
allowed me to, be able to navigate those things as a young guy, because I didn't feel like I had to bottle everything up like,
Right.
men of previous generations had to feel like, because even if you told your partners, you have to worry about, oh man, this dude right here, he's soft, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
She got him all in his emotions, and it was
Yeah.
like, okay, I told you that yesterday, bro, when we was talking, and now you out here with the fellas, and then you gonna bring
Facts.
this up with
Yeah.
everybody else. So
Yeah.
again, that goes back to what you were saying, Benji. Not only for the women to expose you, but even your
Your partner.
friends, your
Right.
partners to expose you. So it's a weird space as a man to be able to open up emotionally without it, without that fear of being weaponized, like you said, or ostracized by your friends, or they
Yeah.
bring it up later because of that. But
And it's weird, Ken, because if you're with your partners and you tell them a little bit, you know what I'm talking about, and they call you, you know what I'm saying, p-whipped. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
you gotta, these are conversations among men, and then like, you really buying her flowers, you're really doing this, you're really doing that.
But
But again,
but but
let's,
this is the challenge that I have with that. If you are a secure man,
mm-hmm,
and you are secure in your manhood, then it shouldn't matter what you tell your boys or not. That if you 10 toes down for that woman, there
mm-hmm.
should be so much pride that comes with that, that even if they put a label on you, wear that like a badge of honor. Like, that's my only issue that I have with that, is when
Mm-hmm.
men, it's like, if you don't feel that way and you don't believe that, then nothing your boys say should make you feel inferior to you being able to express how you feel about your woman, what you do for your woman, how you show up
Mm-hmm.
for your woman. If anything, you should be the example to teach these other brothers
Right.
on how they should be showing up for the women in their life.
And I agree with that. It's just, if I'm at, depends on what stage or level I'm at with my maturity, and then
Mhm.
how I really feel about you. Because again, if I'm trying to get to an emotional state with you, that doesn't happen overnight. Because first, now
Mhm.
I gotta open up. I gotta give you flowers. We both have to create this space, right? But if he doesn't feel that way yet, but he's more close with his partners,
Mhm.
then he may lean towards more of what they say because he's used to them.
nah, let me tell
You,
you
you
what. Here's the thing. I've
That's
been like
that's
this.
crazy.
I've been like this since I was younger. I'm gonna let you talk, Triple Shit. I gotta say this though. I've been
yeah,
like
yeah,
this since I was younger. If somebody said you P whip, yeah, I am, because I'm getting it and you're not. So let's move on,
That
because that's just
part.
what it is. So
Like
it is what it
that,
is.
and that's what I'm about to get into, because I'm like, at the end of the day, you go back and you look at your partners now.
mm-hmm.
If they in relationships or if they're not.
Mhm.
First of all, if you're not, shut up. Second of all, if you are, how
Right.
successful and how are y'all doing right now? Because I guarantee you, the one that's calling you that probably arguing every other day. They not on good terms with their girl. They got a lot of issues because, yes, invest in your woman. Be about your woman. Put in the effort and the time there with your woman. Who cares what they got to say? Because if this is really where you want to be at, and you say you want to be able to be vulnerable, communicate, trust her, how are you going to do that if you run into your boys all the time? How can you
And,
know
And I
if you can trust her if you ran to your boys all the time? So that's
mm-hmm.
where we end up with these women right now in society, which I don't agree with. They try to call the men, they
Sassy
gay.
or whatever. Yeah.
It's sissies, because y'all run to your boys more than you're trying to invest in the situation that you're in with your girl, to try to learn her, build trust, communicate, and figure out how to be vulnerable and trust that there. You just go run back to your boys. So there's no
True.
effort here because you're over there.
And I think, even lending to Ken, I love the fact that you said, hold up, I've been like this from the very beginning. Because I
Right.
also think a big part of it also starts from young men, what they emulate and what they see. I
Right.
look at my middle son, very first girlfriend that he's still with today, what he noticed and saw what his dad did for me, the way his dad treats me, the way his dad, I get
Okay.
flowers, 2 sets of flowers every week, a set that goes on my living room coffee table and a set that goes in my office, to the point where now my son, he celebrates his anniversary with his girl every month. So the
I like that.
same day every month, that's part of their, and they from the time that, and they've now been together, think 3.5 years. he celebrates her that way. There's always something different gift wise, cooks for her, takes care of her, listens to her, even to the point where there was a situation with some friends, kind of leaning to what you said, Benji. He went back, talking, and the friend kind of outed him. He came home.
Right.
He was like, "Ma, I can't believe this happened." He's talking to us. And we're like, at the end of the day, you're supposed to protect your woman first and foremost over your friends. And so just him even learning that and then turning around and going back and checking his boy and like, look, you about to mess up my relationship with my woman, and I'm not going to let that happen. So for him to be 24 years old and he's been in this relationship for 3.5, I think a big part of it also starts with what have you seen and what are you emulating as well, and what is your environment? Because I can see him now being like he's Adam, he's faithful, he's committed, and even his daddy said, "I won't like that when I was like 21 years old." So, but what he's seen now at his age says, I don't have to be out here running around with 5, 7, 10 women. That's just not what he aspires or wants to participate in. So I do think that you can even start early on and be comfortable. And he shows his emotion, he expresses it, but I also think it's again what he has seen. We have encouraged that. We have told our boys, you need to be able to express yourself, you need to be able to share, you need to be able to be vulnerable, because we want to stop this whole image out here, especially with our Black and brown young men, that you're supposed to be hard all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
I agree.
a fact. That's a fact.
And listen, really, only I mean, if we're being truthful about it, really, if you don't want to be hard all the time, I mean, a woman is the one that will soften you up a little bit. So that's just facts of it.
Yup. All right. So, we know that the emotional piece of it is a huge part, but the next thing we want to discuss is the intellectual part. Now, I think this is a part that a lot of people don't think about, right? When you think about intimacy, this is probably one of the least ones that people think about. I may be wrong, but when it comes to intellectual, the fall under that umbrella is vibing to ideas and talking about ideas when you're on a date or when you with your significant other, having those deep conversations, of course, and even debates. You know what I'm saying? For example, if you and your people is having this GOAT debate, Jordan, LeBron, that's intimacy. That's intellectual intimacy. And a lot of people don't see it as that. I mean, even if you arguing over random stuff, that's intellectual intimacy. So people just think the intimacy, number one, like we said earlier, is just physical, but the intellectual piece. So whether you're talking about LeBron Jordan or whether you're talking about if you're going to wear this shirt or that shirt, these conversations with people that mean a lot to you are, part of that intimacy. So what do you think about that, Trish Michelle? Do you think about intellectual intimacy in your relationships or in, your friendships and things like that?
Yeah, actually my friend group, my really, really tight, long year friend group from like 3rd grade, all of us all through that. We have segments where we'll say, all right, y'all, critical thinking moment. And we'll either something that's going on in society or a question like we'll have that we'll post in there. And we take everyone's points, everyone's views, what they think. And we want to make sure everybody feels safe. Like we're going to challenge you. This is not a space to get upset. You can get a little passionate about whatever your stance is or whatever, which is fine. But we love to have those conversations because at the same time, we get to learn one another. I get to learn how you think. I get to learn like what's, your values are for you. You're more, so you could tell me that, but it's going to come out in the most organic way when you have a type of conversation that challenges the way people think and how they would react or respond to certain things. So you take that. And so I do that with my friends. And then you take that to your relationship and we have different conversations. Like you said, we'll talk sports. We'll talk about stats and sports and things like that. Then we'll get to talk about this house and plans and what we got going with that and just different angles, just so we can have we don't want to just keep it like, hey, how's your day? Hey, good night, good morning. Like that is so surface. It is nothing. It's really nothing. It's robotic after a while. So those deeper conversations are necessary because you become to build a deeper bond with that person. So I really believe that's very important.
So that's where the women complain about when they get the text every morning, "Hey, beautiful," and that's it. And then they don't hear nothing until 5 o'clock.
First of all, don't. I'm in a relationship, so don't send me that anyway. But don't you send me that ever. And then you say you don't say nothing until 5.
Grand Rising Queen, how you
And
feel?
definitely don't Grand Rising me. I can't stand that. I can't stand that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Grand
hold on,
Rising
No.
Queen.
Grand Rising Queen. Shut.
Hold on.
Go back to bed. Go do whatever you
Hold
really
on.
was doing.
Hold on, though. I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I have to ask this. What is y'all's issue with Grand Rising?
I feel
First
like
of all,
it's
none of
some
you
kind of
suckers was
trend,
saying this
right?
ever. So now all of a
What?
sudden, y'all all in tune with your lineage and heritage and all this other stuff, and it's Grand Rising, my queen. Shut up. You don't even prove to me that you all about that lifestyle, that you really
That's
do
right.
all of that. Now, if I see you live by the spiritual wellness of that exact heritage and culture, and I see that that's all you got your cloths and your beads and your everything on. Okay, Grand Rising, King Grand Rising, because let me not play with you. But shut up when you just walking down the street talking about what's good, hood. Ooh, don't Grand Rising me.
Yeah.
Don't Grand
Well,
Rising me.
what about the growth? What about the growth in the man? If the man
That did
he's
not happen overnight.
Maybe. Who
That's
are we
fine.
to judge?
Show me that you've been really about that. Don't Grand Rising me. I'm gonna prove it to me. Prove to me that your rising is so grand and so is mine. And why?
Hey, I love biscuits, so as long as they rise in the morning, I'm good. So,
Oh my God. I want to touch on it, Ken, for a second from this, the intellectual.
Mm-hmm.
So from the intimacy side, I always have to say, prior to my husband, right? Intellectual intimacy was so important to me because I always felt like I wanted you to mentally F me. And y'all know what the F is, right?
I know you were going there because
okay. So my whole thing was, it was funny because even during my dating, some of my girls would be like, "Girl, why are you even interested in him?" Because he could mentally F me. He might not have been the best looking guy out there, but his conversation was so on point that we could talk about everything under the sun, start to finish. It didn't matter what it was. And I could see past everything else and see the potential. And see, okay, this is somebody potentially I could grow with. This is somebody that can keep me interested past and outside of the sheets, right? Because we only in the sheets for a little bit of time. The rest of the time, we got to be able to look across from each other, beside each other, whatever, and be able to have some type of conversation topics going on. So I definitely, for me, high on the list. Before even the looks, it was, can you mentally F me? And if you could do that, that was like getting me to smile. And you know how they say, if you make a woman smile, that your foot in the door, right? But mine was, you better get here first and foremost before anything else.
And see, that's important too, because again, when you come from the streets, most men, that's all they got. It's their conversation. They didn't have the money. They didn't have, the status. They didn't have any of that. And some of them pulled women because, the woman that they liked, because they had a mind. They had good conversation. And that is mentally stimulating for a lot of people. So even for me, I love an intellectual conversation.
Even now, even dealing with colleagues or meeting people, it's like, again, I got so much going on. I'm only going to allot a certain amount of time initially, especially when it's the first time we're meeting. And if you don't hit me here immediately, it's like that 20-second, 60-second elevator pitch. If by the time we go up the first floor, I'm not glad. My eyes are glazed. We done. I don't care what's happening or who you are. So it is still even more important in every Trisha Michelle, what you say, every relationship, dealing with my girlfriends, dealing with my family, dealing with new clients. Again, if you're not hitting me here, we're not gonna last.
And I can see that because even in business, if the person, if you talking numbers and the person is, saying stuff that don't make sense, you get what I'm saying? It's like, I can't fool with you in that space because it doesn't connect. It doesn't, you can't be satisfied because I cannot really take this person into a business meeting and put them before an exec and say, hey, give us your spiel. When they can't do that, it's totally a turnoff for sure.
That's why you see them sitting in these restaurants and ain't nobody talking, because they don't even know how to begin to have a conversation with one another. They don't do it. They don't do it enough. They're not intellectually intimate. So they don't even know how to exercise that out in public. So all they're gonna do is just sit here and just be doing this while they're waiting on their food to come, instead of taking that time to get to know each other through conversation.
Read.
Keep doing that.
Yeah.
How do I expand my vocab? How do I expand my conversation? You got to read.
And even if you don't want to read, listen to some audibles. Like you can still get your education listening to some audibles. But I don't want to talk about Cardi B at Walmart today selling her album. Like, you know what I mean? I want more than that. Right.
And that's important. That's a great thing that she just said too, though. Sometimes there's so much just social media. There is nothing to talk about beyond the surface, because everything is, did you hear about Cardi B? Did you hear about this? Did you hear this? Did you listen to some audio things, audibles together, so that y'all can create conversation on a deeper level too? Maybe it ain't here because social media will take us dry to where we have nothing left. And so you need to create those type of conversations by you guys actually reading, listening to, or watching something that gives you something else to speak about that's outside of the normal. Love Island and all that. No, let's watch this show on this documentary. Let's talk about it. How do you feel? Those things.
Right.
All right. So what DeAnna was saying was, shout out to my guy Ernest Drone, man, who's been on the show a bunch of times. That's my guy. And he talks about sapiosexual all the time. And I don't know if you all are familiar with what a sapiosexual is, but it's just what DeAnna was talking about. It's somebody who finds, intelligence sexually attractive and arousing, right? So as we transition to the next one on the list, is I'm gonna use this as a vehicle, because one of my OGs once told me that a woman's orgasm starts up here, starts in her mind, starts with your conversation, and it trickles down from there to the woman parts down below. So before you can even get anything popping, fellas, like DeAnna said, like, you got to have a great conversation. You got to have something to talk about. You got to be able to use your words. So it's tough treading for a lot of these fellas out here, but fortunately for some of these fellas, there are some women out here who are
who ain't. I was just about to say, you ain't gotta have much nowadays. I'm trying to tell you.
So you don't have to have much intelligence to talk about, and some of them love talking about what's on social media. So as they always say, there's somebody out there for everybody. So hey,
yes, exactly.
Pick and choose wisely, because some of these,
even in that situation, Ken, what I think people need to understand is, if that's what you are attracted to, and if that's what you gravitate to, understand what the limitations are going to be as far as future growth is concerned.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so next up on the list, we got the one that everybody's familiar with: physical, right? Sex plus hugs, cuddles, hand holding, caressing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Because physical is more than just the sheets, y'all.
My arm be numb. Listen, they have a new pill.
It's the little kisses. It's the little forehead kiss. It's the little smack of the butt. It's the little hug. It's the little rub of the thigh.
Come lie across me and let me just rub on your back, even if we just watching TV. Yes.
But I got a question though. Before we jump in deep into this subject. Does a long church hug count as intimacy?
Hold on, a long church hug?
A long church hug. A long church hug.
Wait a minute. So is the church hug, are we hand like this? Are we over like this? Are we around like this?
Because a church hug to me is a one-handed, like little so I don't care how long that is. Like, you could have been like, oh man, I'm so glad to see you. It's nice seeing you today. I'll let go.
Talking about the grandma hug where she squeezes you.
It's one thing if it's the hug, but then if I feel you pull in like that, that's something a little different.
Yeah, now that's a little, you like, come here.
Listen, I done been hugged. Listen, I done been hugged by some church women. And listen, Linda. If she listen, man, listen, it happened. Yeah. I'm telling you. And I don't know what grandma be up to. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? But I've been here in the clutches before. And you can't get up out of that too easy. So I ain't talking about like now where I'm at now. I'm talking about in the past. Like they just loved you. They ain't got, they ain't feeling you in no type of way. But I know what you're talking about, kid.
But we not talking about old grandma hugging you. We talking about young tender hugging somebody like that.
Yes,
we know what it is if the young tenderoni hugging you like that.
Yeah, it's a difference. We got the new version of the church hug where you stick your bottom half of your body out and it's kind of like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But old school church hug wasn't like that. Old school church hug was like Benji talking about a hug. And
greet ye one another with a holy kiss type biblical stuff. I'm trying to tell you.
It's some hugs that I see go down at churches sometime, and I just have to side eye. I'm like, wait a minute. I be, what going on over there?
Brother Deacon, you all right?
As we used to say, the freaking deacon. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't never heard that one before.
Hey, man.
It is a fact. It's a fact.
Okay.
It's always some deacons at any church that's freaky. I promise you. They be sitting on that front row checking them out when they go around for offering.
You better believe it.
Yeah, getting a whole eye full. Yep. But we ain't gonna even talk about that. Let's get into the physical part of it, because we know we ain't gotta stay here long because we already know what this is. We already know that when people talk about the physical aspect of it, it's what a lot of people hang their hats on, especially now in 2025, because there's so much talk about it so freely, right? Like when we were younger, it was kind of taboo to talk about sex outwardly, like in front of everybody. But now they over here talking about eating butt.
What?
Like right in front of people, like in front of the world, and the people are admitting to it, and dudes are admitting to putting their legs behind their head. It's wild work out here.
It's the wild, wild west right now.
And you know what? And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let y'all talk, man. It seems like it's wild out here because it's a competition, and you got to do some wild stuff to keep up with how freaky people have gotten.
I would agree.
So if you out here, you gotta be freaky. You gotta be freaky in order to compete, because if you don't, old boy over here is doing this, that, and the third. Old girl over here is doing this, that, and the third. And this is what people want now. And this is what people discuss, and in their friend groups, they're talking about it. So the standards are totally different now than what they were before. So Trish Michelle, you shaking your head. Talk to us.
Because I'm thinking about like what DeAnna said previously, what we're talking about back then. We used to want to be the girl that was different. We want to be the one that stands out as the one that's not, I don't want to be your top 5. I want to be that one because I got values and I'm, there's something special about me. I ain't for the streets. Now it's the battle of who's the freakiest, who gonna do what, how long, how much, how you gonna do it, show me, let me see, prove it. Man, like, it's crazy that is now what your goal is. So that you're right, they are chasing who's the freakiest. How can I be the freakiest, or how can I prove it? And then it ain't even like physical intimacy used to be something that y'all keep between yourselves. Now it's everybody in the world know what you into and what you're doing. Like it's just wild to me how that part is. Whatever you do in them sheets, whatever it is that's your thing with your woman, if you want to go all out to make sure you please her in every single type of way, and in reverse, as y'all should do for each other, to explore one another and try to please one another. But it don't got to be something that the world knows when you talking about it on the podcast, or how your legs will spread eagle with hers too. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's a crazy space, because part of that is the woman wanting to please the guy and the guy wanting to please the woman, right? So they're in that intimate space, and then when you don't have any type of boundaries with it, it's like, people fall in love, and they call this love now, that if I could do all of this for you, that's how we're gonna roll. That's how we're gonna kick it. That's how, if we could bring 2 or 3 other people in the bedroom, do it this way, that's how they're associating their intimacy. So if that's how they roll, they don't view it as, maybe as crazy as per se a believer would. You get what I'm saying? So there's levels to it out there.
And I don't even think, here's my thing, not even from a believer standpoint, whether you talk about it from the Bible, is this right or wrong, right? it's just from a relationship standpoint. You
Right.
know, I've got a girlfriend now that the stuff that she tell me she does, and it's her husband, but the other people that come into the relationship, and I'm just sitting here like, this is not going to turn out good. I can
Right.
promise you at some point this is going to get old, whether it gets old to you first or gets old to him. Most likely it'll get old to her first. And what happens, and it's like they're going through situations right now where she has started out one level, and how I feel is that means every year you got to up it, right? Because at some point, what you've been doing on this level right now is going to get old and played out, especially when you think about, like you said, made a good point. When you look at what's on social media, I mean, even our TV shows now show soft porn, 8 o'clock shows showing soft porn, right? So I'm like, honey, you started at here. Y'all have only been married 2 years and you are the way here. Where do you go after that? Like, you bringing people into the relationship, and then you wonder why he's like, well, we're doing this together. But then when you find out he doing something excluding you, to me, the lines get blurred, because I'm like, well, why are you upset? Why are you pissed off and mad when you've allowed this to happen? Is it only because you're saying you see it, you a part of it? This is not going to be good. So yeah, I'm so happy. I thank the Lord I am not a part of that at all. Because I was definitely the girl, not just saying I was definitely one of no goody two shoes, but I was definitely the one that kept saying all that other stuff you want over there, go over there. But if you looking for somebody you can build a future with, those types of things. But like you said, Trisha Michelle, keeping that stuff behind closed doors. Yes, I'm your freak, but I'm your freak behind closed doors. This is not for everybody else out here to know about it. Because I think the other thing is, it opens up. Now, all of a sudden, if a man now knows that your woman will do X, Y, and Z for you, or vice versa, what happens when all of a sudden people start testing and sliding in the DMs? Right.
Facts.
Because the friends is always waiting to slide in the DMs.
It's what you said, Benji. It said here you are, you want to go share some stuff with your boys and everything. Now you done shared a little too much about your woman and y'all situation. And now he find the right opportunity to have a little conversation when you done pissed her off.
Facts.
And then drop.
Hey, I have an actual story that really happened like that.
And he know the plays too. He know the plays to run on her too, because you done told him.
You done told
him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that really happened to me. That really happened for real.
Wow.
Like, he was going to his friend to tell his friend whatever we was going through. Friend showed up at the door while he was at work, and I'm like calling him like he's supposed to be here. No, he's like, nah. So he at the door like, oh, I just want to talk to you. He don't know how to treat you. I do. I said, oh, you need to leave. But he knew, he thought he knew how to treat me because he was all in his ear about us, and yet it's whatever, all the extra stuff that you shouldn't have been running to your boy about. That's why your relationships, it's okay to get advice from certain people, not everybody in the world. And then your relationship, y'all need to talk. Y'all need to discuss things, communicate, and be.
And woman to woman, Trisha Michelle,
sharing none of that information.
So woman to woman, having girlfriends. That the other part of that is, when I got certain girlfriends that I know will do certain things, they ain't as likely to be around my man.
Oh yeah.
That's just real talk, right?
If you're a little hoochie or you're a little promiscuous, you're a little, your eyes wander and you're a little flirty, don't get socked in your mouth. You can't even be my friend. You gotta go somewhere. We're not even gonna do this.
Why y'all kicking it with the hoochies? Huh?
No. And I'll see like friends that I'm cool with, and then you start getting exposed to like their friends that's not your friends, but whatever, and you start noticing like, oh, I don't know about that friend. She seemed to be she be Jezebel in a little bit. No.
Now, I've heard women say that's it varies, but that's my spirit animal. Like she's kind of who I want to be, so to speak. Do y'all have girlfriends like that you look at and say, hey, I'm thinking like that?
Well,
I want to be like my friend.
Yeah, like you have a friend that kind of resembles kind of how you kind of want it to be in life. You get what I'm saying? Like whether it doesn't matter if she's, you know, a garden tool or
I
whatever.
got friends we
but
think
she's somebody that's
similar.
inspirational.
Like we got the same like thinking, or we are driven about certain things or goals and like stuff like that. But I don't like. It's never one that I like. I want to be like you, but that would be a mentor. Like
I think he's saying living
I got a mentor
vicariously
somewhere.
Yeah,
I think he's saying
there you
living
go,
vicariously through
There you go, King.
somebody else. Like you got a friend that's out here doing freaky stuff, and she telling you stuff, and it sounds like interesting, but you know you're not willing to do it.
Been there, done that.
Like,
We're
good.
good.
You're like,
been there, done that. We're good.
That sounds crazy.
Like, I don't need
I
it.
ain't gonna do it, but it sounds interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Nope, been there, done that. We're good.
Yeah. I know
we're good.
Okay. Now, in my single days, you got to understand. You get what I'm saying? Not many conversations are off limits with women. When they know you're single, when you got the intellectual DeAnna, you can have the conversation and you can cook and you can do this and you can do that. And then you got wine and you're doing this. Women talk and they open up to you like a book. It's like they pour out all of their stuff to you. So I've heard these conversations before. And sometimes when you hear these conversations, you know, in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, do women think like this? Do they, how often do women want to live vicariously through another woman? And so these are just the kind of conversations that you have.
I think I'm the type, like, actually one of my friends had said this before, but she don't fool with dudes anyway, so I ain't worried about it. But she was like, you don't ever talk about, like, she's like, I got a lot of other friends that talk about their bedroom life, and you don't ever say like stuff. I was like, yeah, you're not gonna catch me saying stuff to nobody. We're not gonna discuss what happens. Like, I just don't talk about that. Y'all can talk about it all you want. I might chime in and say a little this or that, but you're never gonna really know what happens for real. Like, so I don't think, and then for me, I don't, if they never brought it up, I could care less. So I don't want to live through them because I don't even care what y'all do in the room. I don't care. So I don't know.
I think it's okay to talk about old relationships, but your present relationship shouldn't do that at all.
Right.
Yeah. So with the physical part, as we transition to the next one, I'll leave you with the physical part. Like my grandmother used to say, how you get them is how you keep them. So what you did in the beginning and how you got them is how you're going to have to keep them. So if you can't keep up with what you're doing in the beginning, you might as well not even set that precedence, because it's going to be what their expectations are going to be built on. So if all that freaky stuff you doing at the beginning, you better be able to keep it up, because if not, they're going to go where they can get it done if you can't keep up with it. So think about that.
Fellas, keep your mocker root and exercise.
And be careful what you agree to in the beginning of a relationship. Even if it's not something you brought to the table, be careful what you agree to just to get that person, male or female.
You better be careful, because brothers got honey packs and everything nowadays. You better be careful out there.
Well, as we talked about that before, honey packs, there are all these pills and stuff. Fellas, steer clear of that. Go to the gym, exercise, eat right, because you got young fellas dropping at heart attacks and all these physical ailments at a young age because of this stuff. So steer clear of that if you can, brothers. I'm just saying.
Get you some maca root, get you some ginger, something. You can do the natural. Do the natural, fellas.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we got experiential. This part is, I think, another one that people don't really think about when they think about intimacy, but bonding through doing things together. That's pretty much what this is, right? Taking trips, having little inside jokes, shared hobbies. As you live through life, you realize that the closest bonds with somebody came from, the little inside jokes, the road trips. That's intimacy. That's intimacy too. That's doing life together, whether that's friends or with a relationship. Just those things that you experience. I think that a lot of people spend money going out to eat, $500 steak dinner and stuff like that. Well, sometimes, brother, just put some time aside and say, hey, you know what, this weekend there's a peach farm down, outside, in the country area. Let's ride out there to that peach farm. Let's spend a few hours out there. Just do something different, outside the norm. But during that time that you're riding in that car, that's a conversation. right?
Facts.
You're experiencing some things and you get a chance to talk and get to know each other. And even if you're playing music while you're riding, you know, we talked about music earlier, but music is a big piece
Right.
of a bond
Mhm.
of people, because if you listen to the same music, it's like, whoa, hold on, you listen to this too? Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of that experience too. But you know, DeAnna.
Unfortunately, Ken, I'm gonna say this real quick. My wife, she don't listen to Stove God Cooks. So I mean,
Well, I mean, you know, most people don't. So, it's a lot of people that don't. So,
You
right,
win some and you lose some.
So
right.
that's
yeah,
right.
so
Yeah.
I mean, my wife doesn't listen to Wu-Tang Clan, but you know, hey, we make it work. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
it is
Right.
what it is. But DeAnna, so with this experiential thing, like, can you talk to us a little bit about your experiences with this and how this has made your bond, you know what I'm saying, closer?
Well, I think number one, we didn't even realize, and it wasn't intentional, but my husband and I, even very early on, spent a lot more time. We look back and we laugh. We spent a lot more time together than we did with the kids. And I think it became even more important because, you know, I talk about when it comes to relationships, I feel like there's three different seasons of relationships, especially if you're blessed enough to stay in a relationship 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? You got that beginning stage where it's we just getting to know each other, everything is all lovey-dovey, great, right? Then you move into that second season, which now it's family and kids. So now you're distracted with so many other things going on, and then you move into the third season, which is where my husband and I, which the kids are grown. And I think what you speak to is all of those experiences and those times that we were together and we bonded, whether it was, again, just sitting and watching sports, or, going and playing golf with him. Although initially, the beginning, I hated it,
Hey, the golf.
right?
Yeah.
But it was an opportunity to be with him. He knows I absolutely love movies, even if we go and he would fall asleep halfway through the movie. It was just a simple fact that he was there,
He was there, right.
right? And so what has happened with all of those experiences over the last 20 something years is it's gotten us to this point where we realize we actually love spending time together.
Yes.
Even when we're in the car, because we work together. So that helped all these years of being able to say, well, now we're working together. We're even closer in that situation because there's no separation. You go to your 9 to 5, I go to mine, and then we come home for a few hours together, right? So now we're at this point where we can get in the car and go to our Dallas market or our San Antonio market, and it's 2.5, 3 hours. And honestly, if we don't do nothing but listen to music, Ken, that's
Yeah.
it. We got a playlist. We don't even, I'm over there with the laptop. He's my driver. We laugh about that. I'm getting some work done. We talk a little bit, but it's so comfortable that it's like there's no uncomfortable silence. There's none of that. And what I feel is also preparing us for is because now we're in this phase, we almost have the kids at the house. We want to travel now. So now it's like, okay, the next stage is we want to be on a plane as often as possible.
Possible, right.
But a lot of it came from being able to spend those close quarters together and feel comfortable with each other and try something new, even if it wasn't something that we might have enjoyed initially. So I love that part of it because now it's like, I'm like, you know what? We spent way more time together than we did with these kids. We raised these kids. They gone now, but now it's just about us.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
the
that.
sweet
I like
spot.
that. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's dope. Trish Michelle, talk to us. Experiential.
I mean, we do a bunch of little things now. I mean, of course, there's the family togetherness. I try to make sure, we're present at the games if our schedules align. We're both present together. And then outside of that, just kind of trying to do little things. Let's take the kids here. Let's get all, especially for us, since we're a blended family, it helps the kids bond too. So we need to go do things together so that the kids can build their bond as well as we're building our bond while we're hanging out, laughing. And we went to the trampoline park and we own the trampolines too. Like we're still involved. We're not just sitting in the corner. Then we take that and we watch sports together. Our team is rivals. That's great. We're gonna talk that talk. We're gonna talk mess. You're gonna be sick to your stomach, and I'm gonna laugh at you. But can you take those conversations? You're not mad. You're not, getting all in your feelings at me. It's all love over here, but it's not. But it is. But it ain't. So, and then we go to games and we travel and we like to do a bunch of things. Like you said, it's not just you go eat at the restaurant and spend $300, $400, $500, but like you could really take the time. And I'll tell him like, I just want to, let's just go to San Diego for the weekend. Like there is no reason to go to San Diego for the weekend, but let's just go to San Diego for the weekend because the reason is we want to go to San Diego. It takes us away from the house, the family, the everything to just go do something with just us. So I think it's very important for me, especially me. I like to travel. I like to do things. I like to get away. That's how I reset because for me, I come home and I got stuff that I still got to do all around here. So there is no getting away for me unless I get away. So he knows that that's very important to me to be away from things. So we definitely exercise that as much as we can. We try to do something away for us at least once a month, and then the kids as well every other weekend.
I dig that. I dig
That's
that.
dope. Benji Branks, talk to us, man. Experiential.
Well, for me, I like dates. Like I'm a date kind of guy. Like whether it be you coming over to my house, I'm cooking, we cooking, like or whatever, or whether we are doing something totally out of our box, right? Like we'll go take a sushi making class. We learn from a sous chef how to actually make authentic sushi, right? Or we'll go to a cooking class where we'll learn how to make some Thai food that we ain't never tried before. You know what I mean? And that means going out of our different areas and our different spaces, right? So that's always been like my thing. Even when I was single, I'm the type of guy, I like dates. You get what I'm saying? And I know for the most part, women like dates too, right? So they like a variety. So that was always kind of inbred within me. Like I want to go somewhere. So, and then it just made it even more if I'm taking you someplace you ain't never been before. You get what I'm saying? More likely, I probably haven't been there neither. So, but I want to go check it out. If I'm going to a basketball game, you know, or whatever, I'm just, you know, hey, you want to go see so and so? It doesn't have to be my team, the Boston Celtics. It doesn't have to be that. Let's go see. I ain't never seen Giannis play, so I want to go see Giannis play. He might be playing the Clippers. I ain't a Clipper or either fan of either one, but I want to go see Giannis ball out. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of like how I always operated. And so I always learned that when I got married, I was like, this was the concept that I was taught. You marry her, then you date her. That's how you keep things fresh. Date her when you get married. Don't stop dating her. So that's what we do. You get what I'm saying? We have our busy schedule. We have our busy lives. You know what I mean? But let's go do something we ain't did before. You know, let's go to the beach. Let's go eat some Handel's ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Try the Cookie Monster ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Do those little things to kind of create a little spark mentally and keep your mind fresh, keep your thoughts fresh. You know, then it's what did you think about that? Well, we stood up for 2 hours, but it was fun. You get what I'm saying? Or we did this and it was cool. So I always thought that was legit. So I'm a big fan on the experimental.
Yeah, so the experiential piece is a big piece, but you know, I'll leave this section with this. One of my OGs used to tell me all the time, money runs out, memories don't. Right. So, you know, make the memories last, man, with your kids, with your family, with your significant other. Make those memories because those was become important. Your kids, you know, don't care when they get, you know, when they become adults, how much money you made. Is what type of memories did you make with them? What type of experiences did you have with them and your friends and your family members and your significant other as well? So yeah, make sure you know, lock into that and really put some thought into some of these things that you do to create these memories.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question to you two guys. So, just talking about this, do you all prefer to want to be the ones to actually plan the dates and everything, or would you prefer that she plans the dates or the vacations or whatever?
We both do it for each other because we both know
No,
that
I
this is
said,
what we
what do
like.
you prefer? I said,
Oh,
what would you prefer?
I would say I'm kind of 50-50, but I would say I
Okay.
like to plan dates. I like to plan dates because I like to go out and do stuff. You get what I'm saying? So I would say I'm cool with that. And plus, most of the stuff that I do, my wife has probably never done before. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, okay, we're going to, and she just gets giddy and she's excited about that type of stuff. So I like seeing that reaction. The reaction is everything to me. Like, babe, planning and we're going way out so-and-so. I ain't never did that. Me neither. Let's go do it. So I think that's fun. That excites her. So it excites me as well.
I do most of the planning because that's just my thing, right? Like I'm the person who is researching, Googling, and has some of the knowledge of a lot more things, and it's just my thing. So she just allows me that freedom to put stuff in place and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and are you okay with this? Of course, I check with her to verify that it's something that she's really interested in, and hear her out, her output, her input, get her input on it, and hear her out if she has things that she wants to say or things that she wants to do different maybe, but she's usually just along for the ride. She's like, whatever you plan, I'm rocking with you, and that's just the way it's always been. So that's how we move.
Okay.
I dig it.
All right. Okay. So last but not least on this list, spiritual. Spiritual is values, beliefs, life mission. But my question is always when it comes to this piece of it, do relationships last longer when people's faith or values match up? Right. And that's gonna be the question that I pose for everybody here because for me in my life, I like to tell this story because early in my life, before I met my wife, my girlfriend prior to that, she was a Muslim, right? And like I'm Christian, so it's just two totally different ends of the spectrum. But we really liked each other, and it came down to a conversation with her mom, and her mom was like, "Hey, you're gonna have to go to the mosque and talk to some of the brothers about conversion and things of this nature." And I'm like,
sorry.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like we really liked each other and we really loved each other, as young people, and we really had a great connection. But that was one of those things. It was like, like this is where it's gonna have to stop because we don't align right here. But I have heard of couples who are in those same exact situations and they make it work.
Right.
So, it's just different, different things for different people. But DeAnna, like for you, is the spiritual aspect of things a big thing that, was something that was a draw for you in your relationship now and in your past relationships?
Well, my current relationship, absolutely. It was actually it was a turn on to me because my husband comes from a long line of pastors and, between his mother, his grandfather, his uncle. So he was rooted in it, which to me meant he had values. That was important to me. Also, from that, because of how he was raised and his mother and father, he also got to see a very healthy marriage. I didn't come from that. I didn't have anybody that had been married or had been in a successful marriage. So seeing that a lot of that was rooted from the fact his mother had him in church, very young. My grandmother had me in church very young. That was important to me because I also needed to know that when times got tough, who are we going to lean on? And I know where my faith comes from. And I know when it's time for me to get down on my knees and bow my head and who am I praying to? Because we got to be praying, in my opinion, to the same force, to the same being, to the same powers, so that we can be equally yoked. And whatever mission, whatever God has put in place for us, that we're on the same path. So that was extremely important to me. And also what was going to be instilled into our children. That was extremely important to me. So I dated very briefly, and I'm using the word dating very loosely on this situation, okay?
Right.
An atheist. And didn't know it. Yeah. I didn't know it until I kept saying, asking about church and just God and belief and this, that, and the other before he finally told me that he was an atheist. And his funny as women, Trish Michelle, I'm sure, we always say, that ain't really what's going on, right? Like I didn't feel like he could explain it very well, but then watching his actions And I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work. So that's why I said I use dating very loosely. So I cut that off, even though I thought he was a great guy, intellectually, all of that. I had to stop that immediately just because I was like, well, shoot, when we go through some stuff, who you praying to over there?
Right.
What forces are you about to bring into this household? Y'all, we can't be doing that, right? So,
Brother Rock, I need you right now.
Exactly.
You Martin in the Nazi
spirituality.
I'm on a journey and I have transcended.
And again, the elevation of it and being now, I think as we start aging, we start going through health situations. We start going through dealing with even, we're at a point now where we're seeing our parents age, right? We're starting to lose family members, people close to us. Again, who are we going to lean on in those tough times? And I know for a fact that like when we moved here to Houston and about 17 years ago, my husband will tell this story. I hit the ground running. He didn't. About 2 years into it, he was coming in like, I can't do this. We got to go back to North Carolina. And I know it won't nothing but faith because I got down on my knees and I said, Lord, if you say that this marriage is supposed to be together and supposed to last, you're going to have to help me find my husband a job or he going to have to find it because we're not going back to North Carolina. And I know it was nothing but that faith and that belief that we both had that said we were still going towards the same mission. We just kind of veered off course, but God brought us back. And now here we are 17 years later, still in Houston.
I love it. I love it.
Dope. All right. So Trish Michelle, talk to us a little bit about that. The spiritual aspect of things.
The spiritual aspect is important. For me, I can't say, well, I know he's raised Christian, raised to believe in God. Me, I was actually born and raised Jehovah's Witness by my parents, grown up. But I still have, the beliefs are very similar. I kind of got into my own, though, belief with it, my own relationship with God, my own thing that I started doing on my own and just building my own beliefs and talking to God on my own. The more I did that, the more my own just development with things began. So then I come into this and, he doesn't go to church or anything like that, but doesn't not believe. But I think it wasn't, the more and more I learn, it's like, it's not something that was a focal point beyond just him coming up. So there's times where I think like we're just kind of finding our own when it comes to spirituality within us, within our relationship, where I am like expressing things like, God, we got to pray about it. We got to give it to God. And I find myself even just my friendships, we're very much like that too. I hear us bringing up God so much more now. And it's just refreshing. But I could, like you said, DeAnna, we're in a place in life now where so much is happening, where it's coming, parents aging or friends or whatever's going on, life, death, health, like just a lot is happening to the point where it's like, how else are you going to get through this? As much as you felt like you just was getting it, I got it out the mud. I got to know God did. That's what I know. And that's when times where they're like, how are you going through this? How did you pull through this? How? I'm like, God, because I can't explain it any other way. And the more I just really believe in that and just live in that and sit in that, is the more it's like important to me too. And so then I start exercising it and saying it to him, to where I want him to start building that thing, that pattern in his mind when he thinks about things and things are happening or doing things or who to lean on, how to get through things. And so I think we're just growing in that together in my relationship, which I love that for us. In past relationships, when I was younger, we wasn't even thinking about that. So like, I do love that that's something that we speak about in this household. And God is a very welcome thing here, is very much a factor here, with not just him and the kids. And we speak about it too. My daughter, actually, I looked on her phone and the Bible app was downloaded on her phone. And I was like, wow.
I dig it.
And she asked to buy a Bible, her own personal Bible, probably like a few months ago. So yeah, I'm proud of a little house around here.
Yeah. You still got to come visit us at my church. So yeah.
I know. And then I seen your location and stuff too. You real. Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah. So it's Benji's turn, of course. So Benji, we know where you stand, but talk about it. Talk about that a little bit, man.
So this is going to be interesting, and I want to make sure I say everything exactly. I was a minister from 19 up until I was about 34, 35, and that's when 34, 35 is when I got my divorce. So I went single for a long time, but I always knew church, pastoring, ministering was a part of me. I've been doing it since. I've always known what God has done for me, right? So when I was single, and I never told women this because I always hid it. If you knew me, you knew me, and you knew where I came from. But it was one of the secret things I would always say was the deciding factor on whether I could marry a woman. Because at the end of the day, she could be beautiful, she could be smart, she could be intelligent, she could be all of those things. But can she handle this part of Benji that is very important to me? Because it's when I tell you my testimony and when I tell you about my life and what I've been through and what God did specifically through prayers and what he's done for me. Can you handle this part of me that is a minister that has to deal with all of these spaces in life, right? Can you, deal with that? And some women can't because they can't get to that level of conversation. Can I sit down and just actually tell you what God just showed me? Because I guarantee you, when he gives me the vision, it's going to happen. So my last vision is God kept showing me music ministry, and it would wake me up at 3 a.m. in the morning, all of these type of things. And I kept seeing it, and I kept seeing it. And so I never forget when God told me, this is what you're going to be doing in this next season, in the next phase. So when I met my wife, it was amazing to me, the background that she came from. And my wife can sing, like sing. And so I write music, I do all of that. So for me to be in the space, I wanted to be with somebody that could share that space with me instead of being an outsider of it, because it's going to consume a lot of my time. It's what I consider valuable. But as long as you are there, as long as you're participating, as long as you're with me, you'll understand it more. But can a woman who isn't in that space deal with that? Mm-hmm. And that was the secret, because that was always a vision that was in my head, that this was going to take place. So when I got back in ministry, this was something me and my wife would have conversations about. We would sit in the bed, and she had never heard me sing before. She had never heard me worship before. She had never heard me, preach before. And so to spring that on her, and then for her to see that space in my life, it's a different type of intimacy now. Because now oh my gosh, I didn't. And it's like, oh, I didn't know you could preach like that. Oh, I didn't know you could exhort like that. Oh, I didn't know you prayed like that. And that, although it's a comfort for a woman who's a believer, is you got to understand that not only will you be attracted to it, other people will as well. And so it's a different space where you got to understand. But if you with a woman who don't understand that, you're gonna be arguing all the time. You're gonna be fussing all the time because sister so and so gonna be in your face. So and so, why she always singing? Why did this? Why did that? Why did every time I look on the so
that church hug was too long.
Do you hear me? These are real conversations. And when you come from the space where I was in, where yes, you were dating, you got all of these women. There's a responsibility to you too, because it's spiritual now. Because I know you in an intimate way, like we was talking about when we started up. So why am I going to continue to have these relationships with you like that? You got to shut that stuff off, because now it affects who you are as a spiritual person. And it can hinder your relationship too, because then it's, who is that? And if you're truthful about your relationship with God, you can't lie and say you don't know her, because now God know, and you lying, and you got to be upfront. So the way I alleviated all of that is shut it off. And most people didn't understand that, but it was more spiritual than anything else, because I understand intimacy when you're connected and your wife is connected. I didn't want to be, he's a preacher, but he got all of this extra stuff going on. We don't play with holiness
yeah.
in that aspect. So it's real for me. You get what I'm saying? And so that was huge for me, and for my wife to see that side of me, which I kept hidden to the new space I was trying to create for 8 years. I didn't want women to know that about me. You know what I mean? So for her to see that is a different level. So it's a big thing for me.
All right. So I think the general consensus here is that the spiritual connection is very important.
Yeah.
For you to be moving forward with somebody, especially somebody who you plan on building a life with, a future with.
Right.
So it's something that you definitely need to consider. So, like I said, it was the last one, but not the least, because it's actually for some people the most important part of the journey. So, consider
And I
it.
think it's something sexy. Just a little pointer for y'all men out there. I think it's hella sexy for a man to be concerned about my soul and about my spirit and about making sure that I'm always on the right path and not protecting me and all of that. So I'm just telling y'all men out there, I know it's, let me buy you something, let me do something, but that longevity is, do you care about my soul and where's my soul going?
Right.
That's something sexy.
Right.
True.
Most women view that if they've been if they grew up in church, and they grew up, but they used to crooked, cats. So when you solid in that space, it sets a different precedent. It's just you view it different. That's why a lot of women gravitate to pastors if they're solid. You know what I mean? They want that. They need that.
All right. So we kind of touched on all 5. But I have some other questions before we get to wrapping up here. I call this the quick fire session. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you all 2 questions. You got 1 word to answer those questions. You got 1 thing that you can say. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing long drawn out. You can't explain it. You just have to answer it. Okay.
Right.
So
Benji, he talking to you.
so this is gonna be very simple. 2 questions. The first one: which one matters the most out of the 5? Emotional, physical, spiritual, intellectual, experiential, the intimacy part. We're gonna go Benji first. Which one is the most important, Benji? Pick one. You can only pick one.
Oh man!
Don't play safe either. Nah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with is it experimental or experiential?
Experiential.
All right, I'm gonna have to flow with experiential. I'm gonna have to flow with that one because
okay.
I like that. I like that.
No explanation. Just
I
one
told
word.
you he was talking about you. I told you he was talking about you.
All right, DeAnna, which one? Which one you going with?
Emotional.
Emotional. All right, Trisha Michelle.
Emotional, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would have to agree with the ladies and go with the emotional piece. So,
okay.
You out there in the audience, y'all make sure y'all put in the comments which one do you think is the most important.
And y'all can tell us why.
Matters most. Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all
tell us why. Tell us why.
Y'all can
Just
tell us why.
Benji.
All right. So the second question. So the second question here and the last one is: can a relationship survive without physical intimacy? DeAnna, talk to us. Yes or no? Can a relationship survive without physical intimacy?
Yes.
Trish Michelle.
Yes.
Benji.
Yes.
I'm gonna go against everybody. From a guy standpoint, I'm gonna say no.
I need it.
We'll talk about that another time. We can talk about that at length, but that ain't part of the segment. No. In the comments, I want you all to be honest, open, and transparent. And you don't got to answer it the way we did. You can answer it based on your own life. I'm just telling you, for Ken, I need that physical. I need that. I need it.
Hey, I'll be there live in the comments. So I want to know what folks are saying. And I'm going to give my why, because there's definitely a why. And there's a left out detail that is going to be like, well, you did it. So I'm going to be in the comments.
All right. So we definitely want to know from the audience standpoint, like your your opinion on a lot of the things that we've discussed this episode, because again, this is an important topic, and it doesn't matter what relationship you have, friendship, or anything that you have going on out there in the world. You got a connection with somebody, there's going to be some type of intimacy involved. And, we have to get out of that mindset of it just being physical or sex and things of that nature. So, because we just gave y'all the education piece to it. So, that it's more than that now. So you can move forward in your life knowing that, it's more than just that physical piece of it. You got to do some other work on some other things. So, for the audience, your homework is to answer, which type of intimacy do you value the most? Put those responses in the comments in the chat box, because we want to hear that from you. And then we'll be checking those comments and we'll be responding, and we'll be letting y'all know more info from us in those comments. So that way y'all can tune in and check that out and get that information from us. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. It's been an amazing episode.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good nuggets of wisdom and a lot of great opinions. But I'm gonna leave you with this is Big Ken's final thought. At the end of the day, intimacy isn't just what happens in the bedroom. It's about a deep connection and how deep you let somebody get into your own world. So you have to focus on that. What do you find important and what means the most to you? And that's where the intimacy is going to be, it's going to be deeply rooted in. So that's what you have to concentrate on. So before we get up out of here, Miss DeAnna, you want to leave the audience with any information, with a final thought, or with your information on how to find you, any of that? Let them know something.
Final thought would be, even with on the intimacy side, there also needs to be intimacy compatibility. So don't forget about that part too. As we talked about the 5 different areas, I think sometimes the hardest part about being able to love somebody is if you're also loving on different spectrums. So also make sure that you're looking at the compatibility of your intimacy and what you're looking for. So that's my final thought. As far as where I am, DeAnna Green, the Boss Chick of Real Estate, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. It is the.DeAnna, DeAnna.Green is where you can find me. If you looking to try to do anything real estate wise in Texas, I'm your girl. Don't call anybody else. I'm also where the money resides. So if you're looking for money, for anything real estate, consumers, growing your business, you need to hit me up so I can connect you with my husband, the Lord of Lending.
Dope. Well, we appreciate you coming through, kicking it with us. And this won't be the last time. We're going to invite you back again. And we love these type of conversations, and we love having our 5 friends rocking with us, because as Benji stated earlier, you're family now. So you've been officially initiated into the crew. So we're going to be picking on you to come back and talk to us about these things as we move forward.
You's family now.
Yeah. Trisha Michelle, talk to the people. Let us know something before we get up out of here.
Benji said something earlier, which is very important. He said he dated to get married, and you keep dating. I think that's very important in relationships. Everybody, you get them and you got them and you're comfortable. Y'all live together now. Y'all got into the routine or whatever. And then you're wondering why you're not talking that much, or you might be arguing a lot or whatever. You have to continue to date. Continue to show interest. Continue to do the cute little things. Say the sweet nothings. You have to keep the spark alive. Keep going. And then at the same time, not everyone is the same person that they was when you first got with them. They go through things occur, things happen, different things are now more important. You got to learn that, and you got to mold and evolve with them so y'all can keep that ball rolling. So just invest in your person. If you really want that person, invest in them. You don't get them and that's it. That's not, it's work. It's a constant work. It's a constant flow, constant rotation, and constantly learning. And you already know where y'all can find me, man. I'm everywhere. Trisha Michelle _TM. Find me there.
Facts. Benji Banks, the man, the brand. Talk to the people, my guy.
Listen, man, great episode. Appreciate Sister DeAnna for pulling up on us. Yeah. Well, it's your boy, man. You know where to find me. Benji Banks on Facebook, BRB4701 on IG. You can find me at my beauty supply / beauty supply store, salon, all of that. Check us out. Just so many great things. Dope episode, dope guests. Continue to check us out. Continue to peep us out.
Facts. Well, y'all already know you've been rocking with the Fiyah session. The fire doesn't stop here. Catch us next week with more heat. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so we don't miss anything that you got coming for us. Because you know what? We want to hear from you all the time. We check the comments, we check the inbox, we check all that. Anything that you all have to say, anything you all want to see, y'all know y'all can holler us. It's been that way since the beginning. We reach out and touch our actual audience. We talk to y'all, we interact with y'all. So we want to hear from you. We appreciate all the support. Until next time, stay lit. It's the Fiyah Session. Peace.
Peace.